Hey, it's Hailey Haus, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Haley, how's it going? And congratulations with the new single. It's such a great like debut for this track, and I'm really loving not just your wordplay, your storytelling, but I really love like the guitars and how heavy it is on guitars on this track. Take me into that creative process of like first starting to write this song and like what really kickstarted that process. Like, did you come in already knowing that this idea was happening, or was this like one of those like songs that just kind of reveal themselves as you start writing?
So this one is a really fun story. Like I love when like the song is like it writes itself basically. A few years back, this girl basically was going around and she was telling people Haley always has like a flavor of the month. And at the time I was dating around. I was like, trying to meet different people. I'm trying to find my husband. And so basically this girl had this perception that I was just like playing guys, like kind of like being a playgirl or something. And so I was kind of hurt by it because I'm like, I'm not trying to like be a heartbreaker or anything. Like I just genuinely want to find the right person. Like that's just my heart. I'm a huge hopeless romantic. And so, anyways, a couple of years pass and I'm like walking down the stairs. And I remember that this girl said this about me. And I was like, okay, this would be the funniest concept for a song, like flavor of the month. And so, anyways, I just like put it in my notes and then I went to sleep that night. And then literally I woke up in the middle of the night. Like, and this happens like all the time, but this one was just like particularly random because I woke up and the first lyric that pops into my head is January boy had a fridge full of LaCroix. And I was like, this is either gonna be like the weirdest like lyric people have ever heard, or this is gonna be so funny. And I love to make people laugh. And so I'm like, I think we could be going down that train, but we'll see. So we had to do like the morning test. I woke up in the morning and I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. I got a session coming up, like a few hours on Zoom with some writers I'm meeting for the first time. And so I was like, let's just bring this concept to them and see what happens. Like I'm like, either this is gonna be so good or it's whack. So I was talking to them, and right off the bat, like it was my first time meeting them over Zoom. We just became like best friends. And we're like, I told them about the concept, and we're like, what if a guy is like literally we make different guys every single month. And so we literally wrote the song in like 10 minutes and it just literally wrote itself. And it's produced by PJ Bianco and Dave Boo. And it was just like a magical thing. And I sent it immediately to my managers. I recorded the demo after the session. And literally they're like, this is insane. And so it was just like one of those things where I was I didn't have to. I was like, I know that they're gonna like it. I felt like so great about it, and with everyone on my team that I've showed, like it just made sense. And I really wanted this to be the first single because I think it's super funny. It's super like ear catching, and I knew it was gonna attract like the right audience that I'm looking for. And yeah, so blown away by the response to it. Like it's just a blessing.
I mean, it's amazing going from like anxiety to this, like two
Yeah.
completely they're on two completely different spectrums. And like I love that, like again, this is your debut with Arcade. So the fact that that song kind of wrote itself during that session, that actual writing session, like did you feel like those lyrics that you sing about, do you feel like they also just came about, or were you actually like trying to figure out things that would be catchy enough that would make sense with each and every month and each and every guy?
it just it was it was literally meant to be. That's like the only way I put it because it was definitely every all the three people that were writing it we were all just, it was a collaborative process. And so we're like, oh my gosh, one person saying, oh, what about March Madness? Like, because of basketball, like NBA. And then what about this is like, it was supposed to happen. And so I don't know. And the two girls that I met, Natanya and Miranda, they're such clever writers. And the great thing is, like, they're super into concepts. And that's one of my favorite aspects of writing and just creating in general. Like, I love unique concepts that sound like they should have been written before. Like, I love finding those things. And so they are totally the same way. And they just like live for concepts. And actually their manager calls them the concept queens. And so it was just like, it was supposed to happen. Like, there's no, like, yeah, it's crazy.
So you come up with these lyrics and you're getting ready to record it. Like, how did you come up with the cadence that you did on this track? Because that was another thing that really caught my attention. I feel like it flows perfectly with the lyrics and also with the guitars and the drums. So how did you go about as far as the cadence? Is that something that PJ and David brought in as soon as you were about to record, or is that something like, or is that how you were initially humming it when you first thought of it?
So I just got originally like just the lyric itself. I didn't get the melody. And so the first melody that Miranda sang was January boy had a fridge full of LaCroix, da 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 da. And we were just like, that is it. Like, hold on, like, this is insane. And then March was mad, but I got through it. Da 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 da. I added that piece, but it was just the crazy thing too about the chorus is that we actually rewrote a different chorus after the session, but we kept going back to the original chorus because everyone was like, because I was like, I want to make some tweaks because I don't know if it's too simple or like blah blah blah. Like, I want to change the melody a bit, but everyone was like, no, like, you have to keep the original because unfortunately there's nothing like the session you originally write the song in. Like, there's just a magic that you just can't explain. Even the vocal that I used on the song is the demo vocal. And I actually re-recorded the song multiple times and everyone was like, no, like, you have to do the the original demo. And the other funny part is, which, like, it's funny to say, but I was sick when I recorded that. And so I sound a little bit stuffy, but only I would know that. Like, it sounds fine. It still sounds like me, but like, it just like the tiniest stuffiness, but it just added this like interesting texture to my voice. So I don't know. I think it just was a recipe for magic greatness.
Now, talk to me about the instrumentation. Did you jump in on board to play any of these instruments, guitar maybe, or is that like, did you have a band while you guys were recording? Like, what was that process like?
So I actually didn't produce anything on this song. It was really mainly PJ and Dave. Like, they just did that whole piece themselves, the drums, the guitar, like everything. Like, they're just like incredible, so multi-talented, multi-instrumental, so they just nailed it.
This whole track is like from beginning to end, it's like super fun and catchy. But I feel like at the same time, like, because it's different from Anxiety, like, do you feel like that you've kind of changed your path or your direction on like what new material you'd be writing, or do you still want to try different kinds of styles of music or songs as you continue to create new music?
Yeah, I think for this, I just wanted to show a different side of my personality. Like, I have a very serious side where, I've been through a lot of trauma and many like dark experiences in my life. And so I'm serious about talking about that in my music, but then also, like, I wanted to have a chance to show my more like silly side where I don't take things so seriously, because I feel like I'm just this walking contrast all the time. And so I was like, I just want to, find those people who like to have fun. But then I'm going to have songs like, there's ones that I'm hoping to release next that are about very serious topics and about loss and, you know, other things that I'm passionate about. So I think like I try not to put myself into a box. Like I want to just write about the human experience and write about whatever is on my heart, and yeah, just let it flow, no matter even what it sounds like. Like, anxiety is like super stripped down, do a super raw song, but then the next day we're gonna do like kind of like hip hop Post Malone vibes, or like I love to explore whatever I can kind of fit into this pop umbrella in a sense.
So was it a no-brainer to release this as like the debut for Arcade Records?
Yes, in my heart. I originally teased a different song, but I was like, I knew in the back of my mind, I was like, Flavor's the one. Like I just know that it's gonna work in my heart. Like, so when we put out the teaser for like the first video on TikTok, I spoke with my managers the night before, and I was like, I want to try putting a video Flavor up. And the moment I posted it, I was like, this is gonna change my life. I already know it. And it just started connecting, and so I was like, this is happening. And my manager already like had a pre-save link ready to go, like, and we just switched gears, and I couldn't be more happy that this is the debut song.
It's kind of scary to release nowadays, like to release music on TikTok or tease music on TikTok, just because you don't know how much it's going to impact that TikTok audience. But at the same time, it's like if it's very successful, you better be ready to release, right?
Oh yeah.
How do you feel like TikTok has helped you with your artistry, like kind of like learning how to develop music, but also like kind of just discovering yourself as an artist and discovering your audience at the same time?
Yeah, I think it's a process, because every day you're putting up shots and you're seeing what bites and what doesn't. And sometimes like there's things that I'll look at artists and they're genuinely amazing, but it just hasn't like clicked yet with the algorithm. So I think like the consistency is the hardest part about TikTok, but it is the most worth it, because you just never know what's going to happen. I remember in 2020, the beginning of 2020, I told my family, I was like, I'm about to get serious about TikTok. Like, I need to, I am determined. I'm an Enneagram threes. I don't know if you know the Enneagrams, but I, that those people, we just want to do our best in everything. And so I was like, I am determined to figure out TikTok, and I want to be the best I can be at it. And I one day I'm going to thank myself for doing it, because it is such an amazing platform where like so many people who are so gifted are getting the recognition that they deserve, and maybe wouldn't have otherwise if it wasn't a thing. It's just like, I think it's truly a gift to be able to reach people so quickly, and they give so many people access. It is taxing, but it is worth it all. That's what I believe.
Well, I'm excited that I was introduced to your music, and this is such a great debut single that you just dropped. To close us off with Flavor of the Month, what would you say was like your fondest either moment in the recording process or your favorite lyric in the entire song?
My favorite lyric is probably the very last lyric. There's always next year, because I think like that just brings the full song, like it brings it full circle, and you're just like, it's I love seeing people's reactions to that part, because you're like, oh my gosh. But it also like it essentially happened to me in the sense where that year in my life I was searching for the right person, and I was like, well, there's always next year, like there's a new opportunity. But the very next year I met the love of my life, I met my husband. And so it's like the moment I kind of gave up, like I found my person. And so that lyric is special to me, because like, you know, there's something great around the corner. Even though it's a funny song, like it's a deeper meaning in a sense, like taking the power back from someone who gossiped about you, and rewriting the narrative. So that even though it's like a really funny song, like that's like the deeper underlying meaning behind it. But I love that people are putting their own spin on it too. Like I'll get messages from girls and they're like, I just dated a new guy like the past few months. And I was like, do your thing. Like you just, everyone's, story is different. And so you got to do what works for you.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, I'm glad it worked out for you, and I'm glad that you found your husband. So
Yes.
congratulations with that, and congratulations with the new single. I'm sure you and I will be reuniting again when more music comes out, but thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Yes. So nice to meet you.